What if I told you that thousands of years ago, people in ancient Mesopotamia built these towering structures that reached toward the heavens? Yet we still don't fully understand why. Rising out of the hot, dry landscape like steps toward the gods, the ziggurats of ancient Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon are among the most iconic yet mysterious architectural feats of the ancient world. But what were these massive layered towers really for? Were they temples, astronomical observatories, or something even more mysterious? Welcome to Old Topic, where we dive deep into history's greatest unsolved riddles. Today we unravel the ancient enigma of the Ziggurats and ask, what was their true function? Let's begin in the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia. Stretching between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, this region gave birth to some of the earliest cities, writing systems, and complex societies known to humankind. And with them came the ziggurats. Unlike the smooth triangular pyramids of Egypt, ziggurats were built as massive, step-like structures made from sun-baked bricks. They were not hollow. They weren't tombs or rooms. They were solid throughout, with staircases climbing up the sides, and often a small temple perched at the summit. The most famous ziggurat is probably the one at Ur, a towering structure built over 4,000 years ago, during the reign of King Ur-Nammu around 2100 BCE. What remains of it today are its foundations, but in its prime it would have stood nearly 100 feet high, with three massive terraces stacked one atop the other, leading to the temple of Nana, the moon god. Archaeologists believe that each city in Mesopotamia had a ziggurat dedicated to its patron deity. But here's where the mystery begins. Why were these structures so enormous, and what actually happened on top of them? Some scholars say ziggurats were simply temples, sacred spaces where priests conducted rituals and offered sacrifices to the gods. But if that's true, why were the temples placed so high above the city? Was it purely symbolic, to be closer to the heavens, or was there a more functional purpose? Others suggest that the ziggurat served as a kind of cosmic bridge, a connection between earth and sky, between humans and the divine. The Sumerians believed in a layered universe with the heavens above, the underworld below, and earth in the middle. The ziggurat, rising from the ground in terraces, may have symbolized this cosmic order, literally elevating the god's temple toward the heavens. But there's more. Some researchers have speculated that ziggurats had astronomical purposes. Their height, orientation, and stair-like structure may have allowed priests or early astronomers to observe the skies, tracking the movements of the stars, the moon, and the sun. Given the Mesopotamians' advanced understanding of astronomy, it's not out of the question, but there is little direct evidence to confirm this theory. There are also practical theories. Some believe that the height of the ziggurat allowed priests to escape the noise, heat, and dust of the city streets, creating a tranquil space for communion with the gods. Others have pointed out that in flood-prone Mesopotamia, elevating the temple might have protected it from seasonal rains. But perhaps the most intriguing theory is symbolic, that ziggurats were man-made mountains. In the flat Mesopotamian plain, there were no natural hills or peaks. Mountains were often seen as the dwelling places of the gods in ancient mythologies. In building ziggurats, the people may have been recreating sacred mountains, artificial high places where the gods could descend and humans could ascend for spiritual connection. This idea gains strength when we look at the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature. In the epic, Gilgamesh travels to the mountains to seek the gods. Perhaps the ziggurats were the Mesopotamians' way of bringing the mountains to them. Then there's the biblical connection. Some believe the Tower of Babel, described in the book of Genesis, was actually a ziggurat. The story tells of humans building a tower to reach heaven and of God confusing their language to halt their prideful ambition. If the Tower of Babel was indeed a ziggurat, perhaps one like the massive Etemenanki of Babylon, then these towers weren't just sacred buildings, they were bold symbols of human aspiration, engineering, and a desire to reach the divine. Etemenanki, whose name means Temple of the Foundation of Heaven and Earth, was said to be over 300 feet tall. Though destroyed and rebuilt several times, it remained a central icon of Babylonian religious life for centuries, and it continues to feed legends and speculation to this day. But here's a strange detail. No one actually entered the ziggurat except the priesthood. The common people weren't allowed up the stairs or into the temple at the summit. This exclusivity suggests a deep sacredness and possibly secret rituals that were never recorded. So, what happened atop these man-made mountains? Did priests burn incense and chant hymns to the gods? Did they chart the stars for omens and eclipses? Did they perform hidden rites, long lost to time? We may never fully know. No inscriptions describe what occurred at the top. No ancient texts explain the rituals. The answers remain locked within the bricks, baked in the heat of the desert. Ziggurats fell into ruin with the decline of Mesopotamian civilizations. Sand and time buried them. Empires rose and fell, and the knowledge of their purpose faded. Today, only fragments remain, worn foundations and scattered remnants. But their mystery endures. Each time we uncover a new ziggurat or piece together a mud brick inscription, we come a step closer to understanding their secret. But the enigma remains. Were ziggurats simply temples, observatories, symbols of divine connection, or all of these at once? One thing is certain. They were not built without meaning. In a world where the stars, gods, and earth were seen as parts of one great cosmic system, the ziggurat was more than a structure. It was a message in stone, a statement of belief, a stairway to the heavens. Thank you for watching Old Topic. If you enjoyed exploring this ancient mystery, don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the forgotten chapters of history. And tell us, what do you think the ziggurats were really for?